Disturbing, psychedelic, poignant. These are adjectives I would ascribe to Brandon Cronenberg's Infinity Pool, a science fiction-laced horror psychological commentary. I would also add that this film is immediately on my list for one of my favorites of 2023. Alex Skarsgård is James Foster, a struggling writer on vacation with his wife Em. They are in the fictional locale of Li Toka, and are explicitly warned not to leave the grounds of the resort. Soon, they meet another couple, Gabby and Alban Bauer. The four decide one night to take a trip into town. We find out that James had a novel published thanks to his father-in-law running the publishing company and married into money with Em. On the way back, James is driven and when distracted runs over one of the townsfolk. Gabby takes the lead in the situation and they leave, with the incident not reported. Soon the authorities come for James, taking Em with them. The couple are separated, with James interrogated by Detective Thresh. Thresh informs James that murder carries a serious penalty. The next of kin murders the person responsible for the death of the head of the household. But there is a procedure that can save James. It is called doubling, where a one-to-one clone is made of James and it is the clone that is executed in place of the real James. However, it is very expensive. James pays the fee and both Em and him are forced to watch as the clone is killed. Later that night, James meets with Gabby, who introduces him to other people who were doubled. Here begins the journey of James down a road of debauchery, excess, and elitist savagery. This movie is not for everyone who professes themselves to be a horror fan. It may be confusing, leave you with unanswered questions, but still well worth investing time into it. I can't help but draw comparisons to Pasolini's Salò, 120 Days of Sodom. Full disclosure, I have not seen the Pasolini film. I have watched my share of video essays on the themes and allegories. Salò itself is a proto-extremist film that would lay the groundwork for the likes of Necromantic, Martyrs, Who Could Kill a Child, and a Serbian film. Those particular titles are well beyond my threshold for on-screen content. Salò dealt with Italian elite libertines who abducted teenagers and subjected them to various tortures, sexually perverse acts, and other abuses of affluent power. Similar with the characters in Infinity Pool, the group of people Gabby brings James in to engage in breaking and entering, home invasions, multiple assaults, and their penance is merely paying off Thresh and the devils are executed. When money is no object, there is no need to worry about being plagued by conscience or experiencing accountability for one's actions. Just look at how the US punishes white-collar crime, a penalty fee that is a drop in the bucket compared to money made from the scam. Epstein Island is a perfect example of what immense wealth can get you, and those who still have not answered for the solicitation of the grooming harem. I was only familiar with Brandon Cronenberg as the son of David Cronenberg. Sad to say, I've only recently taken time to watch The Efforts of the Father. The Dead Zone with Christopher Walken is a fantastic film and a change of pace in body horror, going for the horror of the mind. Shivers, featuring Lynn Lowry and Joe Silver, was a sexual take on the zombie genre. Spider was one of the films I remember vividly from my undergrad days at Damon College. I'll make Father Cronenberg a priority. Infinity Pool is a strong first impression for me from the son. Brandon is not afraid to take cues from Lucio Fulci or his father in foregoing a plot point in favor of what the fuck imagery. I'm now even more interested in watching Antiviral and Possessor soon. I recognize Alexander Skarsgård from Godzilla vs. Kong. Here he plays a character that could be a stand-in for members of the audience who are just as curious towards the world he's entering as James Foster. He goes from mild-mannered everyman to visibly battling internal senses of reluctance and fascination. Mia Goth is having the time of her life. And yes, I still need to watch X and Pearl. I'm waiting for Ty West to finish the trilogy so I can marathon all three in one sitting. Her character Gabby is essentially the lure of the anglerfish that is the hedonistic lifestyle that James was pulled into. As soon as I saw Thomas Kretschmann, I had to pause the film until the voice of Bruno Ganz stopped screaming "Fega" line in my head. Kretschmann as Thresh comes off as a father figure, the sole representation of authority to the wealthy individuals. Whenever we see him, we think the group will learn their lesson, but we're repeatedly reminded that money rules over law and justice. Infinity Pool was not on my radar and I rented it on a whim. It is a movie that will stay with you long after the credits roll. Highly recommended. And that finishes this review of Infinity Pool. Thanks for watching. Until next time, this is Mackenzie Lambert from Mac in the Movies. Take care, folks.